Okay, recording 1. A night that changed my life. A night that changed my life. So, I was a 38-year-old woman, a lady, girl, just a girl, like I am now. And I had 2 teenage boys, 2 beautiful boys. And I was pretty social. I had split up with a cop, actually, a South Auckland cop. And I was keeping myself busy, I guess, by... Yeah, I just like to do things. So we had sports teams. I arranged them and pub quiz and sort of parties and outings and I was quite active in the community. I was also a registered nurse at the time. And I never dropped a patient. I'd studied falls and so I went to a pub one night with a friend and there was a slippery vomit that I nearly fell on. And I suggested that it might need cleaning up because the pub was about to close and it was 2 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't even 2 o'clock. I mean, the pub closed early because the bouncers, they were bullies. And this was just normal to me. They were in my local pub and they were the only ones that had a live band. Sometimes, most times. They were within walking distance, so it had a lot to do with this pub. And these bouncers, just about this, I saw one, he just about closed my friend's fingers in the door. They were provoking, so there was a lot of silly stuff going on with them. And, I never said anything, and I don't think many people did. I don't know why. I guess we have our reasons. But that night, they did not like the fact that I had suggested that they cleaned the vomit up. And I hadn't even suggested that. I mean, I would have done it myself if I could. Now, they had closed early because of the fights that were going on. And it's like we all knew that the bouncers provoked people and caused the fights. But the police were giving the managers a hard time about this. So, they were just they had an extra reason to sort of agitate people by saying, oh, sorry, we're closed. And then they'd start pushing people around to get a reaction, which they did. And then the police came around and they arrested the people that were provoked and reacted. So that was a good game for when they got bored. And everybody knew it. So they didn't like me very much and I insisted that it got cleaned up. I was worried that it was about to close and when they were about to come out in their high heels. They were stresses. They did not deserve to be rolling around in this, but the reason it was so slippery was because it was just so mucusy. And with that, it was stinky. It was vulgar. And I thought that somebody might slip over on the slates. There were slippery slates, and they might hurt their head. I was pretty, a little bit insistent about getting in. And then I wanted to know, why did your pub close at that time? And I wanted to know what answer they gave me, because they were really pissing me off. I got pissed off I got angry when I said to him that it was a hazard, and he just dismissed me. And yeah, he made me angry on quite a few occasions. Instead of telling me to move to the left or the right, even if it was just to pick someone up and I was waiting outside, this guy would put his hands on me, and I would just go, "Ugh," because I do not like people doing that to me, touching me, especially when it's unnecessary, and he was doing it to provoke me. I just ignored it until that night. He gave me a big shove, and he thought I was going to go down, but I hadn't been drinking, so I managed to catch myself, but my friend who was with me, he went up and he pushed him, the bouncer, which was a pretty stupid thing to do because the bouncer was a big guy and my friend was just this skinny. He was very tall but very skinny. In fact, he'd been drinking that night and his behaviour was not as good as mine, let's say. So he shouldn't have pushed the bouncer. That was silly, and he got pushed back on the road. And I wasn't impressed by either of them. I wanted to see the manager then, and I was banging on the wall. There was a glass wall, and I was saying, get the manager, get the manager. But people were saying, don't get involved, don't get involved. So I guess I peed this bouncer off. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to end it now. So what happened then was that I ended up telling the police on this bouncer for their behaviour. Now I've got dry mouth, my goodness. Yeah, so, the bouncer said I was a stalker, and I get called a stalker to this day, and that's 15 years later. The police started hating me because I complained about a false arrest, and it was under footage, and they had that footage. They've been hiding the footage for 15 years. They also call me crazy, a nuisance. They arrest me. They beat me up. Not at the moment. They all have their ways. They set people on me and they use psychiatrists as tools to hurt me more. Like, I recently got locked up in a mental hospital because a constable rang up the psychiatrist. I get distressed when I play games. And I've got to finish this now. But for 15 years, they've had evidence of me being the victim, and my life is crazy. I have links of just abuse, and I've only just started recording after 15 years. How can they get away with this? They will not accept my evidence, so I sent them the links. They will not look at them, as far as I know. They hide the USB, and in the courts, they hide the phone calls that I need to prove I'm the victim, with me crying and being abused on them, and nobody says anything, even though it's on the disclosures that these men were on the phone to the 111, and yet these calls couldn't be found by the police. They would not release those calls, and they turned the charges around on me. Now, the government departments, you'd think that there'd be something to say, no, this is not okay, police can't break the law, but they do, all the time. They do what they want. They do not like me. I do not like them. A lot of people don't like me because they like them. A lot of people hurt me because they can, or they fear me from what the police tell them, and then the police arrest me and then they charge me, and if I'm lucky I won't go to the psychiatrist to be injected with antipsychotics. If I complain, that's what happens if I talk. And I never know whether someone believes me or whether they're playing a game, like it's just a sick tradition to shoot the whistleblower, and I complained that night, and I wanted the footage, and I wanted to prove them wrong. So I'm a whistleblower, I guess. I lost everything I had. I've been humiliated, and continue to be so. And yeah, I've nearly lost my life a few times. Especially 2 times. It's documented, but nobody here will read that document. You know what happens in a cell? I got punched once, across the room, and then they all jumped on me. This is after. Their behaviour was out of control, the police. And they lied, and they said it was me that was out of control. That's what they do in a certain area, Manukau. I hang out with other people who have been through the same situation online, and everyone I talk to. I have a lot of information. So, they do have the footage running in those cells. But you know who reviews them, mate? 2 cops. And these 2 cops, they retort like they did me. I was so upset. But years later, after I made a group, an online group, I realised this is just a feeling. This horrible feeling is what it's like to be on the other side of the cops in New Zealand. So where is that footage? Well, do you see it online? They don't have body cameras. And they will monitor their own footage. Now, they can get away with anything, of course. And then the watchdog will do nothing. When I went to the watchdog when I complained about that false arrest, I got a caseworker who was an ex-cop, an ex-thug actually, because there was articles on him describing him as practicing a sick culture. He liked to hurt people. So, they are supposed to be independent, and they are not, and they do nothing, and I have been screaming to them for 15 years, stop this. But what they could do, actually, is just review and decide if they have no power to do anything, or stop anything. And in fact, they don't have the funds to actually even look at these complaints. Yeah, we know what police complaints are like, and where they go, down the shredder. If I said I was a victim of whistleblowing, would it make sense? So, they seem to be developing these government departments, and to me they're absolutely useless. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. But if I talk to a member of parliament, yeah, they're very rude because, well, they ghost me, you see. They don't reply. And why not? Is it because they think I'm crazy and they don't believe? Is it because the police, they told them, do not talk to that crazy person? She is a stalker, and you will never get rid of her. She is a pain in the ass, and she is delusional, and she is violent, And crazy. And, oh, well, that's enough anyway. Oh, that's what police tell people. So I'm on the other side of that. I have to live through that. This is what people think of me. Of course, there's the odd smart person, and there's the people that get to know me before they hear that shit. Because what they're actually saying is quite the opposite. I am a good person, and I care a lot, and I was a very caring nurse, and I think I was a very good mother. And I was a good person, and I was quite well known in the community, and I was honest. So, now, it's not quite the same. So, I think I need someone from overseas to step in because, you know, I've been screaming out. They cannot get away with this. They charge me right now. The community constable, he hates me and now put out, I was going to see if I could get along and I decided, no way. He is just going to stand there, gaslight me, yell at me. That's what they do. The inspectors. But they harass me. The police. And I've been gang stalked by family. And this crazy girl across the road has been assaulting me and stalking me, like, online even. And I have the evidence of it. What goes on? It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. But I'm alive. And, yeah, basically we're at that point where I'm just telling them, well, I'm still here. So, what do we do now? If I had my way, I would have a big payout. Yeah, because I have been through absolute hell. Okay.